Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka. Once again, I'm joined by AOR Charlie. Good to have you back. It's going to be a close one. I don't think we've actually really probably seen who is quick in the full wet conditions so far this season. So it's obviously different for the drivers. The drivers will have been expecting hopefully dry weather, but you know, we're back here. So wet weather. The drivers have got to make the most of what they can do. So if we see a lot of drivers slipping and sliding around, it could be a showing of that it's going to be a dry race. So it'll be interesting to see who sticks it on pole. Yeah, somewhat similar. The trick is with the wet weather. You've got to stay out until it's just low enough. We've got yellows in sector 3. You're trying to find out, but yeah, we've got Deathbro off in the Williams in the wall, and I think he'll be returning to the pits. But yeah, wet weather conditions. Just stick a load of fuel in it and hope you've got a nice setup, because you don't want to come back into the pit lane. You really don't want to come back into the pit lane. So, and as we speak, the championship rival is leaving the pits, Tim Martic. We have, you might notice, a name change for the McLaren. We've got Voltac Xanax. That is still Prosser. He has joined an esports team, so his name change. Obviously, he'll be looking to impress some people this race. But apart from that, just the usual suspects. Harry Ryan down to the final corner. I think he's on an outlap still, I think. Yeah, I think we'll stick to Prosser. I think he managed to keep it out of the wall as well. Good job. We've just ticked over 7 minutes left in the session. Warden in the banana on provisional pole at the moment. He'll be happy with that. A few people putting in their laps. Just trying to set a banker and then try and get a decent lap and get comfortable. So there's still a few people in the pits. Looks to be Dominator, Poms, Jared. Obviously New Zealand Ryan isn't here, and I'm not sure whether Black Knight is here either. So I'm not sure whether they're actually absent. I can't remember exactly in the lobby, but we might only have 12 drivers today. Yeah, yep, that's fair enough. Fair enough. 2 Force Indies together on their laps, that's not good. Death Bro in the Williams. Oh, it just we just went on board. He was flat through 130 with a bit of oversteer. Jetson rolls up to second. Nice lap. Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's a bit of an interesting one. We've actually got Dominator coming out of the pits now, so maybe there is some rain at the start of the race and drivers are just being maybe a bit what's the word I'm looking for? They're being a bit careful with their setups, trying to be a bit safe, so predictable for all conditions. So Dominator will start his lap. Berserk's just gone second 4 tenths behind Warden, so nice job. Nice job. Obviously running the number 13 on the silver Mercedes has been quite a bit unlucky. Death Pro has retired in the pits, I think, but yes, yep, that's in the pits. So he's had enough.
My audio hasn't been included the whole time. Oh my god.
Apologies,
Well, that's the
everyone. We've
first
just
time
found out that he forgot to include his audio. Well,
My
it
name
could
is
be
ALR
worse.
Charlie. My name is ALR Charlie, just in case you haven't realised. So send your hate mail to me, but Jesus Christ. Anyway, completely ignoring that I had my audio not included there. We got 1 minute 20 left in the session, and it looks to be pretty close between P1 and P2 of Warden and Berserk.
Berserk's
Yeah,
actually
forgive me
retired
about
as well.
that. It is
so-
the first time we're streaming to Twitch in like 2 or 3 weeks, so just getting used to it. But 1 minute left in the session. We're seeing some of the drivers on their outlaps now. We have one person who has retired. That is Death, and he's currently in P12. But Warder goes fastest with a 42.1. 310
He's gonna go again.
by him, and Berserk has also
He's got lots
retired
of
from the
fuel.
session. So that's his qualifying over. We have Dominator coming towards the line now. He was a 10th down through the second 2 split. What about when he comes to the line? He's actually 2/10 up on his lap. 3rd place for Dominator with a 42.9. Great lap time from him. What about Jetson? Jetson's coming through sector 3. I'm not sure if he's actually on a lap because it doesn't say. No, he's actually not on a lap. He's about to start his lap. Proza has actually retired from the session. Timo Mardik is going to start his lap time.
Yeah, obviously, Warden got his lap in well before, and we're just looking. I think Neon will be the last across the line. It'll be Chimchar. It will be Chimchar. Chimchar last across the line. So
yeah, the check flag is out, and this is the last lap that these guys can do. We've got Timo Mardik down the order. He really needs to get up there if he wants to get any advantage with his championship leader, New Zealand Ryan, not being here today. But Dominator through the hairpin curve, 3/10 up on his lap time. He is doing really well in these wet conditions. Aaron is coming through the S's now. Timo Mardik through the hairpin curve, and he is up on his lap time as well, so he's not doing too bad. From Guru's over a second up on his lap time. Chimchar is about a second up on his lap time as well. So we're going to see a lot of improvement from these drivers. We've got Warden coming through the last corner now. The current pole sitter, can he improve his time any further? No, he can't. 2/10 off his lap time. What about Dominator? We've seen him improve his times quite drastically through, in the last few minutes. Coming through the last corner now. Dominator, can he put his Mercedes anyway? Oh, no, okay then. Well, just moving away from that. Aaron is coming, no, Jetson is coming through 130R. And it looks like he's not on a bad lap.
Dominator lost a lot of time
Ben
in
only
that middle
goes
sector, sorry, but
7th
that's
even.
not good.
That is not a good qualifying from him. Jetson up to the line and he goes P5.
Doesn't improve.
Aaron is coming through the S's now in that lovely looking Force India car. And he is going to go full throttle to the line. Doesn't look like a bad lap time for him. It's P4. So, pretty decent.
Stays where he is. Well, there we go. There's the grid. Warden does a very good job. 42-1, and he's back on the front row. He will be very delighted by that. Master Berserk, Dominator, Aaron, Jetson, HO. Tim Mardik, Championship Challenger down in 7th. He'll need to go better if he wants to challenge Ryan. Proza in 8th. Tridome 9th. Funk rounds out the 10. Harry, Chimchar, Death Bro all setting their laps outside the 10.
Down to the grid. It's going to be exciting.
We'll be able to
Absolutely
see
no idea what the weather's going to be.
Yeah, we'll be able to see obviously what the weather will be, because I haven't had any messages or anything to say that. But it's dry. It is dry.
It's dry, but it looks very cloudy. Welcome to the grid for the Japanese Grand Prix. We got Warden on pole position, and we got it was that Master Berserk, I believe it was. Yes, it is Master Berserk. Sorry, in 2nd position. I am not feeling that great, but I'm trying my greatest here. But it looks like it's going to be pretty interesting for strategy, because they can start on any time as they want to.
Now, remember, I think, was it one of the tracks, I think Monza, was it maybe, that we had a bit of a wet quali. I can't remember exactly. I don't remember.
When did you say it was?
Monza. It might not have been. I think it might have been somewhere else. But there won't be any rubber down. It might have been Singapore, perhaps. I think I'm thinking of. But yes, no rubber on the track. Yeah. No rubber on the track, of course. So these drivers will be probably looking to go the harder option earlier in the race.
Yeah, we shall see. But here we go, getting ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a pretty tricky turn 1 and turn 2 to get around. But here we go. The drivers are looking to the 5 red lights for the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go with Warden on pole position. Doesn't look to be amazing start from him because Master Berserk gets an all right start. 2 into turn 1 and turn 2. Doesn't seem too bad from these drivers. Of course, India Aaron is down the inside of Jetson and he can't make the move stick. Looking down the order. Looks like nothing's really changed from these drivers so far. Looks like a pretty clean start. Chimcha, sorry, down in P11, and it looks to be that Ferrari there doesn't look to be going very fast there. That looks to be Jetson holding up the field. I think you need to take over the camera because I am dying. Oh, damn it!
Oh, we've just had a massive Aaron and
Acho.
Aaron and Acho had a coming together there. That was an absolute superb effort, but up ahead it was Dominator pressuring Master Berserk for that second place. So top 4 rolling along quite nicely. Wart's just pulling a little gap. We've got plenty of battles down the grid here. This is excellent. We've got Tim at Marduk and Proza side by side. Down to 13 and 14. Proza runs wide. He's going to nearly lose a position. Down onto the back straight. Everything's settled down slightly. We've got Chimchar looking to get past Harry Ryan. There's really a lot of squeezing going on here.
Surely not. Side by side through 130R. Who's going to come out on top? Chimchar just has
brave.
to back out. Fair play.
Was brave. Credit to Chimchar.
Proza. Proza's gone off.
Proza's gone deep.
Has to take the escape route, and that is a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And Funku is right in his gearbox. Oh, contact!
Oh, they're coming together.
They're gone. Proza just turned straight into him there, and that is front wing damage all over the track there. And I won't be. Oh, what's happened there? Funku just lost his wheel in the middle of the track. It was nowhere near anyone. What happened there?
I think that's a lag incident. I don't think there was anyone turning into anybody on the front straight. I think that was a bit of a lag incident between Proza and Funk Guru. Unfortunate. Really not what he would have wanted. So the yellow flags are in sector 1. R4, the Ferrari out early. Start of lap 2. Harry Ryan going wide up the hill. The Dunlop curve. It's all
Dominator's made a mistake.
We've got it up the front as well.
Dominator made a mistake. Aaron trying to go around the outside of the hairpin curve. And Tim Martin's trying to go down the inside of Acho. And it doesn't look to be too bad so far. Tim Martin still side by side with the Red Bull driver.
And Jetson got past Aaron.
Oh, I can't do this. I'm dying.
Go and get yourself a drink of water, mate. So this battle for 4th is heating up. Out front, though, Warden has pulled a gap.
Yeah, Ben hasn't actually made any competitive moves yet. He's still in P7, but looking right in front of him, Dominator's trying to get stuck in there.
Dominator.
Side by side, Acho's actually been made a little bit of a mistake there. He's down to P7, so Ben, I'm into P6 now, but he is in the slipstream of Dominator, so is Acho. So who is going to dare it into turn 1? We will have to see. Acho thinks about it, but will not make the move yet. But Ben, if I was him, I would start pushing because he needs to make the most out of this with New Zealand Ryan not being here today. And there's the yellow flag. It looks to be Neon. Yes, that is Neon. He's lost it at turn 1 and turn 2. Very easy to do, mind you.
Unfortunate for him. But this is going to be a cracking race. The top 7 are on the supers.
Yeah, Aaron nearly made a mistake.
Apologies.
There too. Oh my god, Aaron has made a mistake. And Tim Mardick is on the back of him now. Coming into the hairpin curve. Is Ben going to go for it? He certainly looks like he's getting pushed off the track a little bit. Bit of contact between the two. But no front wing loss, I believe. So, fair play to those guys for not losing their front wing. Down the order, Harry Ryan's lost the position to Neon. He has gone off the track, it looks like, looking at his tyres. But just looking at everyone's choice of tyres, the top 7 have gone on super softs. and the rest have gone on kind of harder compound tyres, mediums and softs are those tyres. So it looks to be pretty close for strategy.
Except for Proza, remember, he's had the damage and had to pit, and he's gone on the soft, so going long, I think, for him.
Sorry, Cameron. Ben's going
no,
for
you're right.
Pretty big dive bomb there from Ben, but he has got the DRS now because it is lap 4 after 27. And look at H.O. He's going to be loving this as H.O. He's going to try go rally outside, but he has to lift off there because Ben had that covered. So Ben looks pretty strong so far.
Had DRS.
He's going to go down the inside. No, he was thinking about it, but Aaron seems to be struggling a lot now. So Ben wants to get through because he doesn't want to let the leaders get away very quickly. Aaron's gone.
Aaron runs wide, completely wide, and loses 2 spots.
Yep, so that's H.O. and Ben up in position.
Yeah, something had to give there, and the mistake was made, unfortunately, for Aaron. Dominator running in a very strong 4th. Jets 3rd, Master Berserk 2nd, and Warden 1st, 2.2 second lead. So once again, it's another banana car leading the way, but it's the different one. It's the sister car. Warden will be very happy with that.
2.3 second gap already. That is a very healthy lead.
It's still on for 5th position here. H.O. tucked in behind the rear wing of the Williams. Down to the triangle. He will have the DRS. We are on board. Can he get close enough into turn 1?
I don't think he is close enough to get anywhere near Ben because, Ben is in rich and H.O. is only in standard, so I don't think H.O. wants to actually make a move on Ben anytime soon, unless, obviously, Ben makes a mistake. But, things have kind of calmed down a little bit. We're still looking at this battle for P5 and P6, but it's not really a battle. It's more like a stalemate, more like following each other, just really putting on the pressure and forcing someone to make a mistake. But, Ben's kind of got a little bit of a gap and he's catching up to Dominic. He's actually lost it there. Ben has actually lost it and they just got an awesome one there. He's going to go down the inside of the hairpin curve. Ben's not having any of that. He's kind of squeezing him a little bit. There's contact between the two and Ben has somehow caught it and somehow still in P5.
That's incredible. I was going to add as all that happened. The pit stop window will be coming up in a few laps for the super soft runners, so everyone's waiting to see who's going to undercut, who's going to pit early, who's got the tyre wear, or the tyre life I should say. But this battle for 5th is absolutely entrancing right now. We can't avert our gazes. H.O.
is still in the back of Ben, but after we saw that mistake from Tim Amadek, he might be thinking that Ben maybe is a little bit nervous. He could be losing the position sometime in the future, but Ben is kind of pulling a little bit more of a gap. But Asia is now in rich, so maybe he does want to get through, get that position on Ben, but Asia's still keeping up with him, and so's Aaron, mind you. Aaron is not out of it yet.
And Dominator is actually closing the gap to Jetson in the Ferrari for 3rd, so maybe a bit too aggressive on the setup for Jetson. It gave him that lap time in the wet conditions, but maybe just starting to hurt the tyres now in the back end of this opening stint. We've got yellows in sector 1. Tree Dome has gone off in the Dunlop curve.
Yeah, I don't think that is any front wing damage though. But going back to the front, Dominator is 6/10 behind Jetson, and Jetson's got he's quite far behind Master Berserk, 3 seconds that is. So maybe Jetson is. No, I think Dominator looks very, very pacey right now, but he is gaining quite a lot in a straight line.
Probably maximise the tyre life, keeping this stint in mind. Through the triangle. onto the front straight. Beautiful shots from the helicopter cam. So Warden out the front, 3.6 second gap. Back to Mas Berserk in second. These two doing a very nice job. Obviously, a few key players missing this weekend. So they're making their mark. And this is what they have to do, really. They're given the opportunity. They have to maximise it, make the most of it.
Yeah, Dominator's now
Dominator
2 tenths
really
behind Jetson. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to make note of that. He's really on his back, on his exhaust pipe. A few laps until the pit window. And Harry has a penalty.
A stop go for speeding.
Ooh, that's not going to help him at all. And it's actually bringing Ben back into this fight for third as well, heading again once again to the pit stop window time.
Yeah, Ben's
a few of the drivers are actually.
Yeah,
sorry, I was just going to say a few of the drivers are actually watching the stream.
Oh.
Pomps for the win, Ryan and Hazardous Jared. Hello.
Oh, Harry's gone.
You guys.
That's a lot of debris there in the S section. It's literally a straight line just covering the whole track like some spikes. Hopefully.
Oh, he's gone off with no front
there
wing.
Won't be a. I don't think if any of the drivers went over that, there will be a puncture. I'm not too sure. On board with Warden, he's actually coming to that area. Yeah, it's going to be on the next turn here. I'm not sure if the debris is still there. It looks like it's cleared itself. It has cleared itself.
Death Bros had. Sorry, I'm just cycling back up through. Death Bros had an off bit of gravel on his tyres.
Look at Dom and Ben, really closing in on Jetson now.
This is going to be cooking Dominator's tyres, Ben's as well soon enough.
Oh, he's thinking about it, Dom.
They're getting a bit cagey. Dom wheel spin out of the corner. That's not going to help him. Ben is looking feisty.
Ben and Dominator have a little bit of a coming together in Malaysia. And yes, I think it was a 10-second time penalty for Ben last race, so that lost him a position. But these guys are going to be battling pretty hard. These are pretty big points in the championship, and Harry Ryan is actually
yellows.
Crushed. He's retired in the pit lane.
Retired in the pits.
Oh, Ben's thinking about it. He's thinking about getting through Dominator. He's getting very close to his gearbox there. But he has got... Oh, no,
oh my God! What have we seen?
What happened there?
We were riding on board with TMM Arctic. There was a late pit stop run from Dominator, and he's just following, unfortunately, just following too close behind. It was unlucky for him, and he just ended up in the barrier, in the end of the tyre wall barrier. End of the pit wall, I should say. But yeah, he just made contact with the rear of Dominator's car. That is not good at all. He's actually going on the super softs. I don't know whether that's meant... Oh, no, sorry, softs.
I was not expecting something like that.
We could see something in regards to a penalty, possibly for Dominator. Post-race penalty, maybe. We'll have to see after the race.
He is not going to be happy with that, Ben.
In and
interview
them
down to last.
And championship changing moments.
Wow.
It was a bit of a late pit entry, but
something like this.
Yeah, it was definitely strange. It was a late pit entry, but then again, I don't think Ben expected him to pit. So we'll have to see how that one unfolds after the race. But Chimchar on the mediums has not pitted yet. He's rolling around in 5th. Good job.
So yeah, that's so unfortunate for Ben there, but he'll have to work his way through the field. He is 5 seconds behind Prozza, but I don't think Prozza will give that position very easily, because we know he is a very fast driver himself as he gets a 3-second time penalty. But Dominator he's got a penalty looming above his head right now. He's, I don't know what's going through his head. Maybe he's thinking, maybe I was at fault, or maybe he's just completely clueless to what happened. But
Well, the
yeah,
drivers in... I'm just going to chuck it out there. Drivers in the chat are saying it's a racing incident. But then again, obviously Ben's going to feel differently. Dom's going to feel differently. And the stewards might look at it differently as well. So, you know, the guys might say it's a racing incident, but I'm sure if it happened to them, it's they wouldn't be happy, that's for sure. But the leaders out front, first, second and third or fourth in fact, have not pitted yet.
oh, the Mercedes going side by side through sector 1 now. Who's going to come out on top? This is a pretty hard place to make a move. Dominates into the gravel, and he is spun around, and that is not where you want to make an overtake. He has made I don't think he made contact, but he was kind of forced off the track there, and he's down to P9. He's in the back end once again, and yeah, some would call it karma, but yeah, I'm not sure if it is karma, if it is a racing incident, but I don't think, yeah, no front wing damage, so he's okay to continue.
Yeah, definitely good to see. So Deathbro in the Williams, he's in a very strong 8th in only his second or third race, I think it is. I'm not too sure what it is this week.
He joined in Malaysia, so yes, this would be his second race.
Yes, second race. Obviously, he's had a week to practice, so he's looking a lot more confident. Obviously, the wet qualifying would have...
He only just turned traction off as well, so he's doing pretty well. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, of course, the wet qualifying would have slightly unsettled him, but he's doing a good job. Timo Marduk with the fastest lap of the race. If that's not a statement, I don't know what is.
He's going for it. He is putting the hammer down.
He knows he can get points.
You can just see how much speed he's taking through the S's. He is not giving up.
He's got a lot more grip than Proza, though, that's for sure. Remember, Proza's been on those tyres for nearly 10 laps. So they'll be starting to feel a bit second-hand. Dominator's actually battling with Deathbro for 8th.
Oh, nice. Lost the back end there. And Warden is into the pits. Is Berserk going to respond to that? He certainly is. What about Jetson?
I think the top 4 here will file in. They have to. No, HO stays out.
Staying out.
This is bold.
Onto the soft compound tyres for Warden and Berserk. But Jetson onto the mediums.
Going on the mediums. Maybe, perhaps he's worried about the tyre wear.
Yeah, worried about tyre wear. It is pretty close to go supers to softs, but yeah, we've seen 2 drivers go for it. But I know that I think Ben will have to pit again. I think he'll have to pit again. He pit 2 laps ago, I believe it was.
Yeah. Well, he pitted the same lap as Dominator. He pitted the same lap as Dominator. So we definitely know that Proza will have to pit again because his tyres will probably blow up. If he stays on them, they will end up with a puncture. But he's probably the only one at the moment looking at a 2-stop maybe.
There. And he's back down to P9, he's in the back end. I think his tyres are screwed!
Dom
spun it! And he's just spinning around there. And Ben is going to pass him, and to be honest, Ben loving that.
Well, I think Ben will be channeling a bit of Fernando karma, but it could not go from good to bad to worse. And I think he's still going. He doesn't want to retire. So, he might retire.
He's still going.
Might not. We'll see. That's very interesting. That is a big change.
Yeah, I think he's given up. But HO is into the pits now onto the soft compound tyres. So that puts Ben in 10th position. He's actually, he's retired. He has given up. But the thing is, he could get penalty for this as well because under the AOR rules, you're not allowed to retire on track on purpose. So you have to do it in the pit lane. So he could be getting a penalty for that. We shall see. But yeah, HO in 7th position, and you can see Jetson right on the back of Neon here. I don't think, yeah, Neon hasn't actually pitted yet, so it's kind of a little bit of a train that Neon is forming, but Jetson will want to get through because Aaron is right behind him on those soft compound tyres. So yeah, it's looking pretty slow right now for Jetson. He wants to get through, I can tell, but I'm not sure the medium's the right decision, Cameron.
The mediums might be alright. I guess it just depends, because obviously the grip will be starting to build up now, but the medium still might be a nice way to go. Obviously, you could see how much he was struggling at the end of his super soft stint. So maybe he's obviously gone that way to make sure that he can get to the end. So obviously with the soft tyre car behind him is not going to help at all. Now, Chimchar, Neon and Despero are yet to pit, so
oh, look at Jetson.
He needs to get past this lap.
Oh, Jetson goes side by side with Neon there into turn 16. Looks like Jetson's made it around the outside. He goes, great move. And Aaron's trying to pick up the piece as well. He's actually made the move on Neon, and so has H.O. Neon's lost 3 positions in 2 corners.
That's the thing, though. He needed to get past where the others couldn't, and by sort of going around the outside and forcing Neon wide, he's just given the others a free kick as well. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on this one. This is going to be one to watch in the coming laps. 9-second gap, and actually Chimchar's let Mas Berserk go.
Yeah. Sorry.
He's let him go.
I was getting a little bit excited there.
That's a bit of a strategy call there. So Chimchar obviously not wanting to slow Mas Berserk down.
Yeah, H.O. was thinking
which he
about
could have done. He was
inside of Aaron. So
he was, you know, Chimchar was entitled to fight for the position, obviously, but he chose to let him go. So back to this battle for 4th, and New Zealand Ryan in the chat. Ben can stretch it to the end, so we'll have to look for that and see how we go.
Oh, looks like Proz's made a mistake. No, he's actually battling here. Look at his battle for
Aaron's on wide.
3 wide, and that is Proza into the grass. He somehow saved that. No idea how he did that. Well done to him.
Sorry, I was watching the battle for 4th, and yeah, I think Aaron ran wide in the force into yes, so he lost the position there. But this battle force was 8th, so Ben's dealt with his teammate and Proza very quickly.
So H.O. and Aaron has got DRS. Jetson is weaving across the track to try and break that slipstream. H.O. is gaining quite a lot here. And
Sector 3, Proza has
retired.
Well, he's lost wheels.
I'm not going to lie, that looks pretty deliberate. It could be another penalty if it was deliberate.
I wasn't on board to see, but it seems really strange of how you can lose both wheels there. So another one for the stewards to look into.
Oh, H.O.
Here at Japan. Here at
so only
Japan,
9
it's
drivers
all kicking off.
Right, we've got a pretty tasty battle here. 4P4, Death is still behind. He's not really still behind. He's lost quite a lot of time to Team Marduk, but yeah, so the battle for P4 is really hotting up here.
I'm just going to give you an idea for Chimchar. He's 13 seconds behind Warden, and a pit stop around is normally about 20 odd seconds. So he should probably come out around maybe 7th or 8th.
There is a side-by-side action for P4 and P5. Jetson goes side-by-side into turn 1. He's going to back out. It looks like Jetson's going to back out. I don't think he wanted to go side-by-side into turn 1 there, because that would have ended in absolute disaster. But H.O. up into P4 now. And you were saying?
Yeah, no, sorry. Chimchar probably looking maybe to come out 7th or 8th position at the moment. Obviously, depending, these tyres can go a considerable way. So depending on whether he wants to get on the softs or get on the supers, well, obviously the supers would be the ideal tyre, but you know, he might try and undercut perhaps to get a better outlap and a better run to the finish. It's yet to be said. 10 laps remaining. The leader Warden in the banana. 8.5 second lead over Master Berserk. These two
I've just
done
got
a
a
very
bit
nice
of
job.
bit of a confirmation here. It says that Tiamaduk says that Dom should have backed out. But Dom said he was ahead into the corner, so I don't know what's going on between them two, but it looks like it's going to be a post-race steward's inquiry, but we will talk about that later on. But yeah, back in the battle for P5, Jetson on those mediums, kind of struggling. I mean, the soft compound tyres are a lot grippier compared to the mediums, and but Jetson will have a little bit of an advantage going into the end of the race. But looking at the pit stops, it's only Chimchar and Neon who haven't actually gone into the pits yet. And Chimchar's gone up 9 positions as well, so yeah, not bad race to so
the only thing I can say really for Jetson is that the grip level on those mediums should be very consistent for the length of the stint. So he should be quite comfortable towards the end of the stint, obviously depending on the setup. So yeah, again, it'd be interesting to see when Chimchar pits. I assume he might be pitting soon. Aito's really coming onto the back of him, and obviously when Tridome pits himself, so he's falling into the clutches of Ben at the moment.
Yeah, Aaron on the back of Jetson still, and Chimchar has gone into the pit, so we shall see what position he comes out. I think he's looking to come out just ahead of Death, so that'll be everyone in the top 8 moved up 1 position.
And Neon Tridome pits as well, so that's 2 positions for Tiamaduk.
Yep.
The comeback drive continues. So Chimchar will get out in 7th, and Tridome should get out in 8th. Death Bro's just coming down to the stripe. It'll be close. There's the Mercedes in front of him, and he's done a very nice job, Neon. So, what can Jetson do to get on the podium? Can he catch HO and stave off Aaron at the same time? He needs to get into the DRS range to be successful. And we actually haven't seen that many penalties from the top 10 drivers this week. Are you there, Charlie? I can't hear you.
Yes, I'm there. I'm just trying to save my voice.
Okay. I do, yes. That's
Because
right.
I am really tired right now.
I'm sure we
I'm
all
sorry,
wish you a speedy recovery for next week, next weekend.
Thank
You'll
you
have
very
to get into the vitamin C and repair that voice.
I agree.
So, Gordon nearly 10-second lead. It's 9.3 over Master Berserk. HO's a further 8 seconds back, nearly 9. And Jetson 2.6. Aaron is in DRS range behind him. And
It looks like Jetson is
trying
kind
to
of
catch up to
pulling
them.
away now. But Ben is going to be very close for tyre wear because he did pit on lap 10, I believe it was. Let me just double check. It was at 9 actually, so he has been on these tyres for quite a while. But yeah, New Zealand one did say that he can take these to the end, so we'll have to see. But he is pushing quite a lot as well. We did see at the start when he was on those soft tyres, like when he pitted, he was pushing very hard and setting fastest laps.
I think it's about this time of the race that we speak about our driver of the day, and I think it's we might have to give it to Warden. I think after all the troubles that he's had so far this season, and just getting involved in other people's incidents, and he's just, you know, obviously he's in his teammates' shadow at this point of the season, but you know, he's time to shine today, and he has definitely shone, and I think he well and full and truly deserves it.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll go with Warden as well. I mean, as Master like I said, 3-second time penalty. Yeah, I mean, this season hasn't been really the greatest for Warden, but it's nice to see him back in P1. But there's still 8 laps to go, so anything can happen. But yeah, nice to see Warden back on the pace. He will take the 25 points happily if he carries on what he's doing.
Keep in mind though that he also denies Ben 25 points. He surely would be fully committed now to his teammates' championship effort. I mean, it's obviously he hasn't had the start he wanted, and he's not up there to challenge. So it's, you know, it's going to be very interesting, obviously, heading into the season, because I don't think Ben really has. Not saying that Death Bro is a bad driver, but is probably just not quite on the pace yet enough. So Ben is going to be doing this all on his own against the 2 Renaults and everyone else on the grid. He's got no one else that he can pull in and help in his championship fight. So again, the different variables of this small, shortened season, and of course there's a few out there who will be probably setting up for a title tilt for the full season. So again, one to watch. We don't have many races left. I think it's only about 5 or 4 races remaining, so Death Bro gets a 3-second time penalty.
Go on, Neon. 30.9 is the fastest lap on those brand new Super Softs. Holding a pretty nice P8 right now.
Nice job. Now, one of the questions that was posed in the chat by Poms for the Win, the Haas driver, was can his teammate catch Ben on those fresh supers? The gap is closing. I don't think it's going to close enough though. It's 6.4 at the moment. I'm sure he's giving it everything he's got, but in the end I don't think it will be quite enough in the end.
Yeah, there's only 6 laps remaining of this Japanese Grand Prix. It's what I call the it's not really a sprint mode, but it's kind of like a it's like a sprint. So you know, like sprint mode is 5 laps. I just kind of think of it like that.
Yeah.
Just relax. There's nothing to worry about, unless obviously if you're in a absolute massive battle. But yeah,
just
that's
concentrate
what I
and hit your markers.
Yeah, definitely. There's only 5 laps. Nope, 6 laps. Next lap will be
So I think one of the questions probably will be too that Jetson will think, as he sits in 4th place on the mediums, was could he have run softs until the end of the race, and would they have lasted? That will be the one question he'll be asking himself, and he'll probably be kicking himself for maybe not trying it and just risking it, just to see what the actual difference was. So he's probably regretting it because he has fallen off HO, and Aaron is still keeping that DRS gap behind. So it's sort of just, as he said, settled down, it's evened out, and everyone's just pushing to get to the end of the race.
Well, obviously if Jetson did go on those softs, he would be gaining quite a lot on HO, but looking at it now, he's kind of pulling away from Aaron, so I think it's that kind of time in the race where the mediums are kind of like a bit quicker than the softs, because the softs have kind of lost its tyre life, if you like. So it's not really losing a lot of time, but it's kind of evened out, because the mediums are obviously they have a lot of tyre wear built in them. So yeah, that's kind of my theory.
4 races left in this
Laps.
10 race championship season.
Oh.
Yes, I'm talking about the
Ignore
calendar
me.
as a whole.
Ignore me.
Leon gets his warning, a 3-second penalty. 4 races left in the championship. Races are running out for Ben. He needs to really, this is how probably the situation will look. He will need to outscore Ryan at every race and hope that Ryan does not finish on the podium. That will be his goal for next race, and I think that's going to be very hard. As we've seen in TOR Split 2 last night, we had Ryan win the race comfortably at a canter. So it's going to be very interesting to see what obviously happens there at the Circuit of the Americas next week. But yeah, 4 races left. Ben is running out of time and running out of points. And I'm sure he will not be happy with this effort today. Had the opportunity and just couldn't get a grasp with 2 hands of what he needed to do. It's very unfortunate.
Just think about what would have happened if Ben didn't actually make contact with Dom. Ben could be well up there. He could be even on the podium. But yeah, unfortunately, he did make that contact with Dominator, and I'm guessing that will go to the stewards, so they will have to decide what the penalty would be. But I don't know. It's kind of like I guess it is kind of like a racing incident. Like someone's going into the pits and then you weren't realising, and then you're going full throttle because you thought that they wouldn't go in the pits. You hit their back end and then you go spinning and lose your front wing. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of a close one for the stewards, but up to them. We shall see what they think of that incident.
Yeah, I think for Ben as well, it all goes back to qualifying. He had a very poor qualifying, and I don't know if you remember, Charlie, but at the start of this shortened calendar, I did state qualifying would be the key. If you want to have a chance at this championship, you need to qualify well every race, at least in the top 5. And he just hasn't done that today, and he's got caught in all the mess. So it's unfortunate, of course, but again, you don't qualify well, you tend to have an average race. So he's, as adding to my point I made just before, he's going to have to out-qualify Ryan every race as well to have a chance. As we've seen in Monza, what can happen when Ben out-qualifies Ryan. We have absolutely outstanding races, but he's got to be able to be consistent week in, week out, and that is the tough point of racing in Formula 1.
I'm just looking at Dominator's clip of the incident, and to be honest, it doesn't look like Dom's at fault, because he was always coming into the pits, and he was taking the racing line into the pits there. So he was going a little bit left, but if anything, you can't put any blame on Dominator there. That is a racing incident, in my opinion, obviously.
It could be a racing incident. Of course, the stewards have the final say in that one. 2 laps remaining. We're just into a little bit of a dull state here at the moment. Unfortunately, only 9 drivers on the track. We've had 4 DNFs. Obviously, Funk Guru D in the Ferrari on the start of the second lap had it coming together with Proza Voltex Xanax in the McLaren.
Proza.
And obviously Dominator had a bit of an incident, as well as Harry, both running off track and losing quite substantial amounts of time.
Yeah, but that incident with Funguru was really weird. Like, on my screen, I'm not sure if that happened on your screen, but on my screen, his tyre just fell off on the track. I really
Yeah,
don't know what happened there.
I caught the rear end of that, so maybe that was a delay in the network connection or something like that. That obviously we just didn't get to see, but it was a very strange incident to see on the front straight. I'm sure that will be a lag incident. So, but yeah, there's not much really left to talk about anymore. Aaron's dropped off Jetson. It's a second gap. Jetson's dropped nearly 10 seconds to HO, and the gap between first and second is 12.3. So
I have to hear what Ben has to say, to be honest.
It's a bit of a stammer. Yeah. Yeah, in those sorts of incidents, I think it's best to hear both sides as well.
I was really shocked with that incident, you could probably tell. But yeah, I wasn't expecting something like that to happen. But as Warden will come through turn 16 and turn 17, through the final corner to start the final lap.
He's driven absolutely brilliantly in this race. He's actually in AI mode, I don't know what he's up to.
Maybe checking the penalties.
Possibly. Checking whether he has any penalties. I don't think he has. He's driven a very well all race. Master Berserk. And HO's not that far behind, actually. 5.3. So HO's done a good job to try and keep Berserk honest. So, Warden for driver of the day. If you could have a second and a third, I think, well, you'd have to give one to Team Bardic for his recovery drive. And
definitely.
The third, well, I don't know if you can share a driver of the day, but HO, Jetson and Aaron for their very clean, fair battles earlier in the race. I think they're probably some of the
battle of the day.
The standouts, the drivers of the day. I think those 5 drivers are listed, but obviously we can only really give it to one, so it's Warden 99.
As he comes through 130R, and this is what he wanted. This is really what Warden wanted, coming through the last few corners now. Through the last corner, this is Warden's first ever win for AOR. Up to the line, and he wins the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. Congratulations to him on his first ever win in Apex Online Racing. And here is Master Berserk coming through the last few corners as well, and he will take P2, the second position on the podium with HO. I believe this is the first podium as well, up to the line, and he comes P3. Jetson is going to come home in, I think this is his best position as well, in Apex Online Racing for Oceania. He will come home in P4, and that is 12 points for his championship. Aaron coming home in P5, well, that'll be 10 points, and Ben with a really disappointing P6 there. Chimchar will come home in P7. Neon Tree Dome is coming through the last 3 corners as well. He'll take home P8. Congratulations to him. And to Deathbird, the last driver on track. I think this is his first points for the championship, because he only joined in Malaysia and he did crash out there, so better than nothing, I guess. Death coming through the final corner, and he'll round off the Japanese Grand Prix in P9.
Obviously, well done to all the drivers that finished. We'll update you on the race, or sorry, not race, season standings very shortly.
But yeah, that's Warden on the top step and Savitar. Yeah, that's Warden on the top step of the podium.
Obviously, that's a little inside joke for Ben's videos, so you'll have to stay tuned for that.
The results, we've got Warden, who takes P1, 25 points, his first ever win for AOR. Master Berserk in second, HO third. Jetson, I don't know what flag that is, in 4th position. Aaron 5th. Ben 6th. Apparently it's Ben's home race here. Chimchar 7th. Neon 8th. Deathbird 9th. Pozzer 10th. Dominator 11th. Funguru. No, Harry in 12th. And Funguru in 13th. So let's try and
standings
get some
quickly.
interviews.
The driver
standings
standing
are
quickly.
quite messed
Warden
up as
has
well.
jumped up to third at the moment.
The standings are kind of messed
Obviously-
up because there have been some post-race penalties. So yeah, we'll see. But let's try and get some of these drivers' views. I think we'll get the podium. And shall we ask what happened with Ben's incident?
Well, I'm not sure what Dominator's up to, but we can try and get them both in if they would so like to be.
Okay, yeah. So we'll get Warden. There were those guys. We got Ben, Master Berserk, and HO.
We'll do the podium first and then run on to the other two if we can get them.
Audio included, guys.
Yes, I have my audio included.
Once everyone's included their audio, we can start. Obviously, we'll start with the race winner, Warden 99. Congratulations, as Charlie was saying, it's your first win in Apex Online Racing. It's also your first win of this shortened series, and after a disappointing start to the season, you, I am sure, would be very ecstatic with that result.
I guess pretty average. No, it was a very
Anything-
succulent race.
Anything more you want to add about strategy?
Drinks was cloud, it was colder. Made tyre wear better.
Well, your teammate, your teammate Ryan is actually been watching the stream, and he is very happy that you won as well. So obviously, congratulations to you both. You've actually moved up into third. You've moved up into third in the championship. You're quite a still way off the top two. Do you think you can do anything to help your teammate win the championship?
I can play park the bus every race.
That's fair enough. Well done. Congratulations once again.
Yes.
Charlie, would you like to interview second place, or is your voice
Oh, I'm here.
kaput?
Yeah, just Warden. That qualifying there, I think you got pulled by like 4 or 5 tenths, I believe it was. Something like that.
In the wet weather.
Yeah. You did say that you were very confident in wet, so were you practicing for the wet
I
in
did not do a single lap of wet practice.
Wow. Okay. So it proves you're pretty quick in the wet then, if you had no practice.
Maybe, just a little bit.
Master Berserk came home in P2. P2 it was. What P2, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, P2. So tell us what that race was like for you then.
It was pretty quiet. I knew if I was going to try a challenge for the win, I'd have to get Warden into turn 1 off the start, but that didn't happen. And he just pulled away after that. So it was a pretty relaxed race until I got my penalty with about 10 laps to go. And I'm like, oh, HO's pretty consistent. He's probably got no penalties, and he's catching me pretty quick. So I had to push while trying not to be making any mistakes. But overall, very pleased to get my first podium so far.
Yeah, Cameron, have you got any questions?
Yeah, again, well done, Master Berserk. Congratulations on your first podium in AOR. You're
Thank you.
currently 4th in the standings. You're not too far behind Warden. I think it's only about 6 or so points. Do you think you can challenge the second banana car?
As long as he's behind on the track, I think I can hold him back and give him a
Maybe
flight.
bullet.
Pretty much.
Alrighty, good
Anything
job.
happens, yes, there we go.
Yeah, that's right. Anything can happen in racing. And obviously, HO 56, your first podium in AOR this season, I think it is. Would I be correct in saying that? Congratulations, a good drive, well done. You survived the early chaos and overtaking manoeuvres everywhere, and you were closing in at the end of that last stint.
Okay.
Do you think you could have caught Master Berserk at the end of that race?
Maybe with the laps. Didn't happen in the
No worries. Well, Warden, you're our driver of the day. Congratulations on
Oh, jeez.
a solid result finally in this championship. Well done. Hopefully it may continue for yourself.
Yes.
Good luck to all you guys. Obviously, Circuit of the Americas is next week. Do you guys have any ideas about how that race could go, how you'd like it to go?
Penalties everywhere.
With, well, or with 4 races left of the championship as well.
Great.
Put it right in.
Anything you wanna anything you wanna add, Charlie?
No, I mean, yeah, congratulations to you guys on the podium. So, yeah, next week at Kota.
And we aim to be on YouTube. Hopefully things will be sorted. Obviously, if not, we might be back here on Twitch, but stay tuned. We'll let you guys know. Thank you for the people that have watched. Obviously, probably not the number of viewers that we normally used to, being obviously a different change of area. But yeah, again, once again, join us for round 6, I think it is next week, at Circuit of the Americas.